Happy Wednesday evening. Hi, I'm your host, Shameika Rhymes, and welcome to Soulibration. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Drop that in the chat and let me know how you're doing this evening. I am so excited to be back at my regular time, for one, and to be back here with you guys. And I'm excited about tonight's show. Remember to share this with your network. And if you have any questions at all during the show, drop it in the chat. And as usual, y'all are my co-hosts, so I will be looking in the chat to grab those questions because tonight's guest. Well, let me back up. Let me tell you a little bit about tonight's show. So, according to the American Heart Association, heart failure affects an estimated 6.7 million U.S. adults, and some of those disproportionately affects Black people. Now, tonight on Celebration, Dr. Deanna Brown Thomas is the daughter of music icon and the godfather of soul, James Brown, and she's here to discuss her personal battle with heart failure, congestive heart failure. Now, she's also going to share her journey of recognizing the symptoms, coping with the diagnosis, and the lifestyle changes that she made to manage this condition. And we're also going to talk about, the importance of early detection and treatment. And we're just going to talk heart health tonight. So again, let me know where you're watching from. Drop your questions in the chat. And let me introduce you to my guest. She, like I said, she's the daughter of the legendary godfather of soul, James Brown. And look, he's in the building tonight too. And Dr. Brown Thomas is a humanitarian, entrepreneur, radio and TV personality, actress, writer, and president of the James Brown Family Foundation. And she's also the founder of the James Brown Academy of Music Pupils. And I'm like, you have got an amazing resume. And she's the founder of the James Brown Family Historical Tour, which was created for James Brown fans so that they from all over could come to Augusta, Georgia and learn all about the world icon. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. So glad to be here. I'm so glad you don't mind me bringing, someone.
Yes, I'm so glad that he could come too, because one of my goals had always been to interview James Brown, but you know what? He's right there. He's listening. He's checking the interview skills.
Yes, he's nosy. Trust me, he real nosy.
So I wanted to start off by, could you just share about when you first noticed symptoms and of heart failure, even if you didn't even know what it was? What were those symptoms like, and then what led you to go seek some treatment, and and then when you learned what the diagnosis was? I know that's a lot for the first question. I thought we'd just dive in.
No problem. Yes, I was at my office and I was at my desk, and I started sweating profusely and I just couldn't stop. So I started feeling a little tightening in my chest. Old school. Do I have to use the restroom? Is it gas? The whole kind of thing. And went to the restroom, and no, that wasn't it. And it kept coming, and I couldn't stop it. And I was just sweating, and the chest was getting tighter and tighter. And finally I was like, well, let me just leave and go home, lay down. Maybe I don't know. I just need to lay down. So I called a soror of mine, and I was telling her what I was feeling, and she says, D, you need to go get an EKG. You got to find out what's going on in your chest with your heart. And I was like, girl, I'm just going to go home and lay down. So she was like, no, you need to go. Mm-hmm. So I did. I went to the ER, and come to find out, my heart was functioning at only 10%. And the doctor at the time, he couldn't understand. He was like, you seem pretty healthy. They had to take some tests and everything. So they quickly took me in and gave me the catheter thing, to check go through my groin and check my my arteries to see if there was any blockage or anything like that. Mm-hmm. No blockage. Everything was fine that way. But my heart rhythm had went up, had come off, and I was pretty much having congestive heart failure, which is what my father passed away December 25th, 2006. And I had no idea that's what was happening. Mm-hmm. I had no idea. I didn't even know that was an issue for me.
Right.
And so it was very scary, mm-hmm. To find out that that's what had happened. And then at that point, um, being thankful that I didn't die,
Yeah. Yeah.
being thankful that it didn't get worse.
Hmm.
So at that point, it was, what the next steps were. I wore a heart monitor for about 3 months,
Hmm.
and so they can see, what my heart would be doing. And I was on medication. It was a very, very, very hard time for me because I basically was depressed,
Yeah.
didn't know, yeah, I had lived, but
Hmm.
didn't know what was going to be of this issue.
Hmm.
Um, and I had to work on getting my heart rate back up to at least, they wanted at least 35%.
Hmm.
Uh, so after the 3 months was over with me wearing the monitor, it was not at 35%.
Oh,
It
wow.
had only gotten up to a little over 25.
Hmm.
With that being said, the doctor discussed that this is the next thing that you will have to do is to get a defibrillator,
Hmm.
the defibrillator slash pacemaker. And it is to shock you if your heart goes, if you're out of rhythm. I haven't had that, thank
Hmm.
God.
Yeah.
Um, but I have to wear this defibrillator in
Hmm.
my heart for the rest of my life. I won't be able to ever take it out. My
Okay.
doctor, cardiologist, told me that he has seen people die on the table trying to remove
Oh,
get
gosh.
removed because it's so embedded into the tissue of your heart,
Hmm.
and so that it would pull the tissue. And so he's seen people die on the table, so he didn't suggest, that that would be a good thing. So I'm with this for the rest of my life, and it was such a depressing
Hmm.
situation. I went through a lot of depression, just wondering how I was going to live with this. Um,
Yeah.
and I knew that I had to make all kinds of different changes,
Hmm.
uh, and I did. But I call this the hand of God. That's how I am able to deal
Hmm.
with it. I like wearing nice off the shoulder clothes during the summertime.
Yeah.
A little, apprehensive about doing that because I
Hmm.
didn't know how it would look, and it kind of sits out a little bit. And then I was a little afraid with people getting a little too close to me because they might
Yeah.
hit. Um, so it was really something to go through.
Hmm.
And I felt like I'm young. I'm 52, 53 years old. 52 years old.
Hmm.
Again, scary because I had a sister that passed away when she was 53.
Hmm.
So another sister passed away when she was turning 57. And so it was just, like, wow,
Right.
this is a little scary right now.
Hmm.
Um, uh, but I changed my diet. I
Yeah.
changed some of everything.
Hmm.
Um, and I just, thank God, I felt like I need to make changes in my life
Hmm.
as a thank you to God for allowing me to still live. And obviously, He went through with me yet. I still got work to do.
Yeah, you're still here. You're still here.
Still got work to do. So,
Yeah.
changing what I needed to change
Hmm.
to get better, to make sure I was better physically, emotionally,
Hmm.
spiritually, psychologically.
Yeah.
Changes as a way to say, God, thank you.
Hmm.
Because if I kept continue doing what I was doing, then I'm not showing that I'm appreciative of what God has done for me in my life.
Hmm.
That's the way I looked at it. So I had to make the changes to show Him that I appreciate Him saving me.
Yeah. Now, did your other sisters have the ones that passed away? Did they have heart failure as well?
I had one sister who dealt with COPD.
Okay.
Um, and another sister who had an infection.
Okay.
So she had dealt with some serious health issues.
Mhm.
But I guess the scary part for me was that they were in their 50s.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so am I. And then,
Mhm.
of course, it's the same thing with my father,
Mhm.
passing away from this congestive heart failure. Um, so I added to, I must say that, making the changes that I made a difference.
Mhm.
Um, I'm on some medications, 3 pills that I'll have to take. Um, but I've changed, like I said, my eating habits.
Mhm.
Um, I don't eat meat anymore, and
Mhm.
I drink a lot of water. And only soda I drink is a ginger ale.
Mhm.
Not the kind with the high fructose
Yeah.
in it, and pure cane sugar instead. Lots of vegetables, certain seafoods, only certain fishes,
Mhm.
and I've just changed. I am much more. I have a regiment
Mhm.
that I do every day. I'm on sea moss with ceramic tea and black seed oil, um, zinc with vitamin
Yeah.
C
Mhm.
and vitamin D, and just certain foods that I don't eat anymore,
Mhm.
because it made a difference when I made those changes. I saw the difference. I feel the difference. My energy level is up,
Mhm.
um, and I stopped drinking. I don't drink alcohol anymore. I made all of these changes because I wanted to live, and again, show
Mhm.
God how thankful I was, and it has certainly made a difference. I went to see my eye doctor year before last. Yeah, no, last year, early last year, and my eyes were a 3.0. I was wearing contacts,
Mhm.
so I was 3.0 was my prescription. And so when I went back early this year, it changed because of me changing my diet, cutting out a lot of sugar, cutting out a lot of sugar.
Wow.
And so now I would normally wear contacts.
Mhm.
I don't have any contacts on now.
What?
Any contacts on now. My eye prescription is 1.5.
Uh-huh. Wow.
So cut in half to the point where my eye doctor, he couldn't believe it. He was like, wait a minute, hold on. He kept putting it in the formula and, trying to figure out, was he putting in the wrong numbers? He was like, there's no way he went from
Yeah.
0 to a 1.5. And he was like, are you diabetic? I'm like, no, I'm not diabetic. I've cut a lot of sugar out of my life. My intake of sugar is definitely not the same. And he's like, so that's the difference. That's the difference. I says, he says, are you wearing your glasses? I said, I wear my glasses to see, far.
Yeah.
I don't wear my contacts anymore. Um,
You convinced me no more sugar. You have convinced me because my eye prescription got worse when I just went a couple weeks ago. So I'm
you cut that sugar out of your life, and it's really easy to read the nutritional facts on everything you buy, you know.
yeah.
Um, and so sugar is, salts and everything, and sugar it can very well be detrimental,
Hmm.
because it affects so many different things. People think of diabetes. Well, it affects your eyes. It affects a lot of different things.
Yeah. So did your
Teeth,
I
everything.
yeah. I remember when your father died. I was working in TV news at the time. I was in the newsroom by myself actually when I saw it come across the Associated Press. And I just remember being in shock. But did you guys know that he had heart failure before this, or did you have any clue?
No,
No.
no, it didn't.
Oh.
Did not.
Um,
He was diabetic. He had dealt with
okay.
some prostate cancer.
Yeah.
Um, that was to the extent.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was pretty healthy for his age and for
Yeah.
all that he had been doing. Never had any hip surgeries with all that dancing he was doing.
Right. Yeah.
He was a very strong, still man, but still, like I said, he
Mm-hmm.
dealt with those issues.
Okay. Um, because I was going to ask if you thought maybe this was hereditary, or did the doctor say that that could have been stress induced or something else?
Stress was a very big part of it, huge part of it.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So, so what were your stress levels like before all this compared to now?
Well, there was a lot going on in my life. After my father passed, I didn't get a chance to really grieve him until much later on in life.
Okay.
Doing a lot of stuff, dealing with his estate
Hmm.
and things. And then I had my own businesses with my husband. We have our own businesses, and I had my own life,
Hmm.
as a mother, wife, and business owner. And but going back and forth to court with his estate and for years with that, it just dealing with life itself and all of that together took a toll.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
if you don't control it, it will control you. So me just trying this, thinking that I got everything under control, like
Right.
we do. Um, I did not. I was, the stress was obviously breaking me down.
Hmm.
Um, Eating habits, all of that. Not enough rest, probably, you
Yeah.
know. And rest ain't necessarily sleep, just
Hmm.
resting from, worrying about certain things, that kind of thing.
Right.
You have to, self care is top tier, point blank.
Hmm.
Your self care is top tier. If it's like being on the airplane when they tell you put the thing on your face first before you try to put it on somebody else, because
Yeah.
if you're not strong, then you can't help someone else.
Hmm.
So those of us who are givers, workers, like
Yeah.
to be the hands and feet of God, we can overdo it.
Hmm.
It can really happen. And so I urge everybody to take care of yourself and to get proper rest and to eat and to steal away.
Yes. Yes. I feel like someone earlier today and yesterday and the day before that was like, you need to rest. And I'm like, I will. I will. I took a 10-minute nap, and it's like, no, sit
No,
down.
no, that's not quite what they're speaking of.
Right. So how do you so what does your self-care look like now? Do you take that time to rest, and do you meditate? Is prayer huge? What types of things do you do?
When I get up in the morning, first thing I say is thank you, God, and I begin to have long conversation with Him. I read and I meditate a lot. Prayer is like I said, I do all of that before I start my day.
Hmm.
And so I can be focused on what I need to be focused on. Now, I'm a human being like everybody else. We get sidetracked, we get distracted, but that's the main thing. Try your best not to get distracted.
Hmm.
So as I stay focused, um, and that sets in your peace, you know, um, to try to be calm and it's hard. You
Yeah.
know, nobody's perfect. You're still gonna have your times when you like, pull your hair out, go crazy, scream,
Hmm.
holler, whatever, get it out. um, but as I love to be outdoors. Now, of course, it's going to be getting ready to get cold, but
Yeah.
nature is so a big thing for me, and I love to con- consume and get in nature
Hmm.
and just meditate, you know, and listen and listen for God. More and more now, than
Hmm.
ever am I doing that, and I almost died. I
Yeah.
almost died.
Yeah.
October 1st, 2020 could have been it for me.
Hmm.
So that has changed a lot of things in the way I see things. You know, I urge you, your viewers, those that are listening and watching, to and will see this,
Yeah.
to consider um, your well-being first, and that's not being selfish by no means. Consider your well-being,
Hmm.
um, what you take in,
Yeah.
as well as what you put out.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, Speaking of viewers, my co-hosts in the chat, make sure you guys drop your questions if you have any. I did see one question, and actually, let's see, it was from Lynette McCallum. She is also a soror, and we're AKAs for those wondering. I don't know if you noticed all this pink.
Yes, service to all
She wants,
mankind.
right, exactly. She wants to know, did you have any prior heart disease or heart issues?
No, never did. And that was really the thing. Like, I never had any problems with my heart. I never had anything to make me think that I need to, you know, take
Hmm.
care of myself in that manner.
Wow. Okay. So one thing that I've kind of heard from, we had a menopause expert come on a couple, I think it may have been last month or in September, I can't remember, but she talked about how menopause can raise those numbers, your cholesterol, your blood pressure, and just affect your body overall. And I'm just curious if any doctors brought that into consideration with your heart issue, or if this just was like kind
I
of a
wasn't
hereditary thing.
I wasn't having any menopause issues. I hadn't even
Okay.
I had that, and it is here now, but
Okay. Well, but we're the pre-menopause, because some of us have been through it, even just the pre part.
mine, it could have been some some hereditary situation there,
Okay.
but nothing that we thought of.
Okay.
I don't know anybody else. Like none of my grandparents, nobody didn't pass away of
Mhm.
heart attacks, have any heart issues. Um, um, but stress for sure.
Mhm. Okay. Um, so you mentioned earlier that it did take a toll on your mental health. From how the clothes you were going to wear to wanting, not wanting people to get too close because they might feel it. How did you deal with your mental health during that time to get back to that? Okay, I feel better about myself. I'm good wearing what I want to wear. I can hug people now. How did you get to that point?
Let me tell you something. God has really blessed me,
Mhm.
and I guess He took me through that to bring me to this point.
Mhm.
Shamika, I am back to I was a size 4 when I got pregnant with my son. He's 34 years old. I'm back to a size 4.
What? I'm about to write
Yeah.
down everything you said.
A young lady saw me the other day. She was like, "You lost weight. I haven't recognized you." And so, she's like, "Oh, don't lose no more. You look good. Don't lose no more." And I'm not trying to lose any, but it's just that because I've changed my diet, my lifestyle, the
Uh-huh.
way I eat, and what I eat, don't eat anymore. It's it keeping me down.
Yeah.
So it's like um, I my meditation
Mhm.
has been it for me, to be able to just meditate on the goodness of God and what He brought me through, and be
Mhm.
thankful. You know, that has just really carried me. God has really carried me. I must be
Mhm.
honest. Um, try 'em for yourself,
Yeah.
because
Oh yeah. Oh
He
yeah.
He gave me the strength. He's given me the energy. My body. I have energy now that I have not had probably since I was 21 when I had my son.
Mhm.
Um, I was noticing just a year and a half ago, my gums used to be brown,
Mhm.
and they all of a sudden, when I started to change my whole diet and stuff. They're pink now. I got a couple of brown spots, but they changed.
Yeah.
So whatever toxins was in my body needed to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
and so yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I
I'm just in shock.
am
Like, wow, this is
blessed.
amazing.
I am blessed to still be here.
Hmm.
I have energy. Um, like I said, I went from a size. I was an 8 for a long time. I mean, I've gone up to 14, came
Hmm.
down to a 10, then an 8 was an 8 a long, 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 long time. I am a 4 now, and like I said, it's amazing. I haven't
Yeah.
seen those days since before I was pregnant, and but all
Mhm.
of that has brought me to this point now, and I feel good.
I was getting ready to sing it, and I was like, "Don't sing."
Yeah.
Well, you look good. What is the quote? If you look good.
Ah, you're right. Look good, smell good, make love good. Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm so sorry to bring that up, but that's my favorite interview clip ever.
That's what he said. That's what he
Yeah.
said.
When
We
I'm in
just
a bad
repeat.
mood, I go watch that.
We just repeating what he said.
So we have a question from Linda Young, who's also my mother.
Hi, mom.
And she's asking this because my grandmother passed away from congestive heart failure, but she wants to know if your hands and feet and legs started swelling when you were told you had congestive heart failure.
No, that is one thing I didn't have a problem with. I did not do any swelling. I didn't have to take any type of Lasix or anything. She started me on that just in case, but that was one of the medications that I was able to come off of because I did not have any issues with the swelling. Um, Little cholesterol. She had me on cholesterol. I got off of that because I
Mhm.
changed my diet, so I don't have any cholesterol issues.
Okay. How long did it take you to see the changes and get off like cholesterol medicine and just start to notice like I'm starting to feel better, I'm starting to have more energy? How long did it take once you made those changes?
I started making those changes in 21.
Mhm.
Um, so uh, probably with her, probably about the beginning of 23, the
Okay.
beginning of last year, or no, maybe the end of 22, because I've been either the end of 22, beginning of 23. I've been off of a couple of those pills because I was on about 5, and 2 I came off of, and I pushed. I was like, listen, I don't need it. I don't need it.
Mhm.
My diet has changed. I'm good. She's like, oh, no, you think you might need you. Your cholesterol may go up if you're off. My cholesterol is fine because I've changed my diet.
Okay. That's good to hear because I
And I'm
know,
functioning, my
yeah.
heart is functioning at 55%. I am back to where it's supposed to be.
Oh, that's great news. That is great news. What is your, I know I read this, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Exercise, because a lot of us are like, yes, I need to exercise. If I could just get a 10-minute walk in somewhere, but then sometimes you get so busy. So what did exercise for you look like before this diagnosis, and then once you changed your lifestyle?
I'm a big swimmer. I love to swim, but of course that's only in summertime.
Mhm.
So I love to swim. But so I continue to do that. But in the wintertime, I have elliptical. I love the elliptical because that moves everything. So
Yes.
I'll get on the elliptical and do that a little bit. I stretch. I like to stretch.
Mhm.
But I move around a lot, So, but those things, in the morning time, I'll stretch, and like I said, I'll do the elliptical in the winter time. But summertime, everybody know those that know me know I love water, so I'm swimming.
Well, how has your experience with this condition kind of reshaped your entire perspective on health, both personally and then as an advocate, because you sharing your story is helping others. How has your experience like just reshaped your perspective on health as a whole?
Well, it has changed my life because at first I didn't want to talk about it. I was very
Mhm.
private about it. A lot of people didn't know.
Yeah.
Um, and, I just didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to share it, and sometimes people have you in the grave and you just at home with a headache. You
Right.
know? So I was like, no, we're not going to do that. So I kind of kept it quiet. And, I heard Star Jones, our soror.
Hmm.
Talked about it on her American Heart Association
Yeah.
um, thing, and I was like, wow, it hit me. God was like, you can share it, and just like you said, help somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe even prevent somebody from even happening, so that they could take care of themselves, so that it doesn't happen.
Hmm.
Um, and it had to he had to it had to resonate with me for a minute. I had to really sit in it for a minute because again, I wasn't trying to talk about it,
Hmm.
but um, I did, and once I did, I was like, wow. People were like, I have this, I did this, I went through that, and thanks for sharing. And so it made me feel like, okay, I went through this situation. I almost died. I literally almost died. And
Hmm.
it made me realize, what was most important and what mattered
Hmm.
and what truly matters.
Yeah.
Your health truly matters. Your mindset, your mental truly matters. Your spirituality truly matters. And um, so again, I'm just thankful
Hmm.
for my soror making me go to that ER, and because I could have went home and laid down, and
Right.
I would have died.
Hmm. Yeah, we help each other. Isn't that what we were saying earlier? We help each other. We
Yes.
just, and so I am appreciative to you sharing your story. But at first, when I saw that headline at first, I was like, wait, what? And then I read it and I thought, wow, that is brave to share this story. But I was proud of you for sharing your story because, like I said, it's going to help so many people. There is another question, and I'm not sure what this is, but you may know. JD is asking, do you have any advice for someone with a bundle branch block?
A what?
Yeah, I don't
Bundle?
know. I'm not really sure. Can you tell us what that is, JD, in the comments? I'm not really sure what that is. I'm not sure if it's some kind of medical procedure for the heart or something.
Right. Hmm. Don't know what that is. Bundle block.
It was a bundle branch block.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that term.
me neither. Yeah, JD, let us know what that is, and then maybe we can get your question answered a little bit better. Um, heart health can often be overlooked in certain communities, especially the Black community. So, are there any resources that you can recommend that people, like you mentioned, the American Heart Association? Are there any others that you're aware of that are helpful with information and maybe screenings and things like that?
Well, I know that normally there are women's organizations in different areas that cater
Hmm.
to helping women do these tests. Um, but you are your best resource. You
Yeah.
know what you're feeling in your body. And
Hmm.
if you're not feeling something correctly, you need to see about it. So you are your best resource. And the first thing you do, of course, is you need to see you if it's something really tearing at you, need to go to 911, to the ER. But you know, maybe even have an appointment with a cardiologist if you are having any type of problems, any tightness in your chest. But you are your best resource. You know what you feel. You know what doesn't feel right in your
Hmm.
body. Don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. So you are your best resource.
That is great advice. And I'm always a proponent of, advocate for yourself. If they're telling you you're all right, nope, advocate for yourself because
Go somewhere
like
else. Go
sec-
somewhere else and tell.
second opinion, second, third opinion.
Yeah, go wherever you keep going until you find somebody that's gonna be like, okay, maybe this is what it is, and that's what it is. don't stop. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, we deal with racism in so many different areas, and health is one for sure. And
Yeah.
hopefully, you won't let nothing stop you when it comes down to your health. You
Mhm.
can't, you can't, you can't, you just can't. You have to push and make sure that you're getting, the information that you need about your health.
Okay. Okay. So JD explained what the bundle branch block means. He says he has a right bundle branch block. I'm gonna get that alliteration out today. He says all the arteries connected to the right side of his heart have lost their electrical impulse. So the right side of the heart is dead. So all blood is flowing through the left side only. So I'm guessing he's probably asking any lifestyle change advice
Mm. Well, you
that could
definitely
help.
have to follow your doctor's advice.
Hmm.
I'm not a cardiologist, so you definitely have to follow your cardiologist's advice. If you don't have one, do get one.
Hmm.
Find yourself a cardiologist. Um, I have two. One, Dr. Gupta, she's a female. She is of Indian
Hmm.
descent. And a gentleman, Dr. Holman, he is African American. And we have to talk to people that understand us
Hmm.
and who we are. Because sometimes we can take medications that are not good for us, and we eat foods that are not good for us.
Right.
Um, and so that's important that you be very honest to talk about what you do, what your regiments are, and you want to talk to somebody that you're going to feel comfortable with, that can resonate with who you are. I think that's so important. So you definitely want to see a cardiologist, and um, everybody's eating habit. We always have to be careful with our eating habits,
Hmm.
whether we have a issue like heart disease or not, but because that can prevent some problems as well.
Right.
It can lead to some problems as well. So yes, sir, your eating healthy, um, getting rest is very important um,
Mhm.
for your condition. And I pray that you get stronger and stronger.
Thank you. So what's the best advice do you have for family and friends that have someone that is dealing with heart failure? How can they best support someone living with heart failure?
Um, well, consideration is always important. When you feel that someone has, considered your situation, that
Hmm.
makes you feel, you're important.
Yeah.
Just in anything, you want to make let let them know that you are considering their issue, their problem, them, and whatever the case may be. But heart, everybody has to deal with their heart disease in a different, as best for them, and
Hmm.
everybody's situation is different. Um, is like me and my husband, we take the same heart medicines, but he doesn't have a defibrillator. I do, and like I said, I'll have this for the rest of my life.
Hmm.
So it's, my mental with it has gotten better, but every now and then
Yeah.
it's like, you know, I got this thing.
Hmm.
So everybody deals with uh, their issue
Yeah.
differently. You
Hmm.
know, give people grace and a little grace and space.
I like that. Well, what's next for the James Brown Family Foundation? I have to ask since, I don't want James to feel like we're ignoring him. We see you.
Well, we are gearing up now and getting ready for the annual James Brown Turkey Giveaway, which will be this Monday coming up at May Park here in Augusta, Georgia. Been doing this for 30-something years. My dad started doing this in the early 90s.
Mhm.
And so we partnered with the Golden Harvest Food Bank. So we'll be giving out a couple of hundred turkeys meals to people who've registered for them.
Mhm.
We'll be doing that Monday morning. And then right after that, we drop information and go right into the annual James Brown toy giveaway mode and register families for toys to get next month.
Mhm.
And so that finishes up our year. Constantly, all year, we
Yeah.
do James Brown Academy of Music Pupils. It's a year-round program where we're teaching kids how to play instruments and learn how to learn music.
Mhm.
And so that's year-round. That's 6 weeks in the summertime, and then after school during the school year. So we stay busy
Mhm.
throughout the year doing other little things. But those are our main things. And of course, every Saturday, we do have the James Brown Family Historical Tour. So we invite you to go to our website, jamesbrownfamilyfdn.org, so that you can see all that we're doing. And we're on all the platforms, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah.
I keep saying I'm going to get down to
Well,
Augusta so I can check all this out.
you gotta come on. We want to see you. You will certainly enjoy the tour, and bring your daddy and your mama with you.
Well, um, I always, this conversation has been so great, but I always ask my guests this last question: what feeds your soul?
Mm, wow, what a great question. Well, JAMP, James Brown Academy of Music Pupils,
Mhm.
is my is my passion. I love seeing the kids grow. I love
Mhm.
seeing them learn. I love seeing them express themselves through the music. And we just recently ran a musical that I co-wrote with a friend of mine, Jeremy Cormier, and we ran that in Atlanta, Georgia, called "Papa Didn't Take No Mess." My father, James Brown. And James Brown was played by the most talented Lawrence Flowers. Iyanla sings. She was played my mother, and Nadia Rochelle Weaver played me. Had so many great people. And my dad, of course, made this song, Papa Don't Take No Mess, but I lived it. So
Yeah.
that's why I called it Papa Didn't Take No Mess.
Uh-huh.
And so it was so great to be able to see these people work and give them opportunity. My father wrote a song, I don't want nobody to give me nothing, open up the door, I get it myself. It was
Mhm.
about giving people opportunity to better themselves, further their career. And that was such a blessing for me, it just
Mhm.
it exhilarated my heart, just warmed my heart to see this musical come to life and to see these young people out here doing this. It was just amazing. So that right there,
Mhm.
that's what it is for me, being able to see other people live their dreams.
Oh, that is a great one. I love that, and I want to see this musical so very bad.
You will keep watching.
I will. I want to thank you, Soror, Dr. Deanna Brown Thomas, for coming on and being so transparent and sharing your story with us. It's definitely going to help everyone that's watching and everybody watching. Make sure you share this with your network because there could be someone on your Facebook page, your YouTube channel, or any of your social that may be going through something similar and they want to see that you can turn it around. You get on
Yeah,
the good foot and turn it around.
that's exactly right. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Get on the good foot.
Yeah. So thank you again so much for coming on and sharing your story. Everyone, for more information on all things that are heart health related, you can head over to blackdoctor.org. There's plenty of articles, resources there. Um, Again, thank you so much. And thank you to my co-hosts in the chat. This was great as always. And I want everyone to have a soul-filled rest of the week and a happy Thanksgiving. Have a good night, y'all.
Good night.